is only war.
What is up, gents? 40k Dirtbags here. We're doing the Atlantic City tour. We just won for Death Guard about a week ago, so we had a lot of time to kind of plan out and see what kind of videos we're going to be making. We're going to be doing a picture-by-picture, turn-by-turn for each game coming up in the series. We're going to go over what we did good, what we could have done better, and what our opponents did into us and what we could do into our opponents. So we're going to go over each game. If you guys are Patreons, all these videos go ahead of time on patreon.com. I wouldn't be doing this without my Patreons. If you guys are interested in joining the Dirtbag Nation, you guys get a coach in your corner. If you guys just want to support the channel and have first access to these videos, or get your own little Patreon link that you can message us over at the Patreon with all the other Dirtbags. So that is that, or the competitive Dirtbags, you get to message me one-on-one or another coach, and then Grandmasters, you get one-on-one coaching and a call to go over like battle reports or GT prep, stuff like that. It's always good to have that professional coach in your corner. But with this Atlantic City Open, we were 4th last year, so we had to take our revenge out this year, and insane competition. But there was a 8-player team tournament going on in Atlantic City at the same time. So the singles tournament was announced after the team tournament. So there was about 110 players, give or take, but literally the best players in the Northeast. I think the Northeast meta is just insane. So we got to still play a lot of good players. So if you guys are new to the channel, thanks for clicking on the video. We were #1 Chaos Space Marine player in the world last year. The year before that, we were #1 Grey Knight player in the world. So this year we're going for #1 Death Guard player in the world. There's a lot of good competition out there, especially the disgustingly resilient guys. So if you guys are friends with them, hit me up, because we're trying to do a collab and get all the Death Guard players on the same channel. But this is going to be fun. We're going to go over every game, picture by picture, turn by turn, and what we could have done better. And getting into the final game, the first 5 games, or 4 or 5 games, are going to be recorded this way. And then the last 2 games are going to be on War Games live stream, which I'm not sure if I'm going to do a video over that. Somebody let me know in the comments below. If you want me to go over the live game, I might just fast forward and kind of go over key points on what we did good and could have done better. I've never done that before, so that would be new. And then I'm going to leave those in all the links below. But again, if you are Patreons, this is going to be uploaded ahead of time on patreon.com, so that way you guys get first access to it. So guys, let's get into the quick sponsors, and then we'll get into our first game, and then we'll go from there. Alright guys, if you want to support the channel, head over to the merch store. The description below has the link. All these shirts are up for sale. These legit red, white, and blue shirts look fire at a GT. They're super comfortable, super non-shrinkage. It's just a really, really nice shirt. Spent a lot of time picking out the right shirt. All these designs are up for sale. All the stickers as well. And if you guys need some models, we got the Cypher, which is legit. We got the Tech Marine with Grey Knight bits. We have the Phobos Librarian, the Phobos Captain, the Kaldis Assassin should be in every list, and old school Codiez. We have the widgets, 6-inch, 3-inch, 1-inch, 2-inch, half-inch. We have our objective markers, which are great for sticky objectives, any marking for oath, anything like that, and all of the stickers. So hit me up on Discord, DM, that's how you get a hold of these, and the merch tab below for the shirts. Now back to the video. All right, so this is our first game against a World Eaters player. This is a newer gent coming with his buddy. Him and his buddy were super competitive in their local meta, and they kind of had to branch out and go to other GTs to get that competitive edge, which myself and a lot of our guys around us are in a very, very good meta, and to be that competitive and be surrounded by a good meta is just lucky. These two are very competitive, but they're not surrounded by a good meta, so they needed to branch out and go to other GTs to meet new people, kind of like myself, and learn the game even more. Actually, this is the second time recording this video because the first time the mic wasn't working, so I have to figure out what the hell I said prior, because it was really good. It sounded really good, so let's try to remember what the hell we said. It was really talking about having that, or when you go to a GT, you're going to play players that you've never seen before, or armies that you've never played against before, and you learn the most at the grand tournament. So I always suggest going to grand tournaments if you have that competitive edge or just like playing competitive people. if you're going just to like try and, you know, go 7-0, even though you've only won 3 games in a year, that's not really going to be your type of scene. But if you like to just play 6, 7, 8 games in a weekend, GTs are the best way to go. You're going to meet a ton of cool people. You're going to have a ton of fun. And that's really my suggestion. So with this guy, he was just so excited just to be here to play all these games against really competitive people over the weekend. So our first game was more of like a coaching game. It's more of like what he could have done better and like where he should be moving his guys. And at a certain point, when you guys are facing these types of players, you don't want to be beating them 100-0. Like there's no fun in either side of just destroying somebody. Like that's not our meta. That's not our what's going to get new people into the door. Like they're just going to have a terrible time, and you're probably going to be so bored playing it. So in this type of game, you're going to be playing, seeing kind of their skill level, and seeing that like it's going your way, and you know there's no way that they're probably going to be coming back if you keep playing the way it is. So you take a breath, you look down, you're like, all right, hey, instead of going that way, what if you went this way? Hey, instead of doing that, what if you did this? And kind of like coaching them that way. And you're going to help this guy and probably help another person in the same way to just grow the community at the same time. The 40k is growing so much, so fast, and I love it. But you have to get rid of the toxic players that are trying to 100-0 people and ruining the community at the same time, and instead figure out who your opponent is, know that you're not on the same skill level as them, and just teach them to be getting to your skill level at the same time. So that's kind of like what I want to go over ahead of time with this game, because you guys are going to see like movements and why is he starting there and going over there and stuff like that. We're going to go over it in the video, but that is my first thing I want to say ahead of time, so that way you guys, if you see this, you kind of know how to treat this person and how to play a fun game. So let's get into it. First off, we have Angron. This is the Berserker detachment. Not fully painted, I would say, because that actually came up in the Bone Sand game we played, which I can't wait to talk about because Jack is a fucking awesome opponent. But in this game, we got World Eater, Angron, 2 5-man Terminator units, 8th bound unit, Exalted 8th bound unit, 10-man Berserks with Karn, another 10-man Berserks with I think the Juggernaut Lord, some Jackals, and a Demon Prince. And I think that's the full list. Bunch of different cool strats with this. We are playing, first game was Linchpin, so that if you're holding your home field objective, you get 3 points. If you're holding the center as well, you get 5 points. If you're not holding a home field objective, it's only 3 points in the center. So your home objective is very important in this game to try and get at least 8 every single turn from holding the top objective and the bottom objective, and then trying to fight for the last 2. So this is the Search and Destroy, starting 9 inches away from the center, 18 inches away from the center, sometimes a little bit sooner. Against World Eaters, used to be super scary. Now without the advance and charges, it's not as scary. But some of them still get to scout and then move up and stuff like that. So he started all of his guys. He has his big Berserk unit up there. Some Terminators behind this cover here. The terrain setup was crazy turn 1 for melee armies. Like I can fit entire Mortarian, Demon Prince, Spawn, Plague Marines with a Rhino, and a bunch of dudes back here without any fear of getting shot with them. So same thing with him. He can basically start most of his army behind this little terrain piece, and the center is just wide open. So anybody who steps out in the center is just dead from guns. You have this crazy shooting lane going down this way, crazy shooting lane going down this way, and yeah. So with the infiltrators were able to infiltrate kind of going up this way, and he doesn't have a ton of guns really at all, so I could be a little bit in the open and not really have to worry about being shot. He does though, because we have guns from almost everything on our side. So he got first in this game, and his first turn he gets engage in all fronts and secure no man's land. So he played very, very defensive in this game, because he knows like I can come down with Death Shroud, charge 6 inches. I have reactive move with Mortarion, which came in clutch like this entire game. But our deployment, we deployed the Tallyman on the back here with a unit of Poxwalkers, because he did have deep strikes. We have one of our bloat drones, which I think every game we reserved one of the bloat drones except the last game, which I should have. But the bloat drone is in reserves. We have 10-man Plague Marines in there. We have Morty right up front, Demon Prince next to the spawn, unit of Poxwalkers, which makes the Demon Prince load up, and then the Poxwalkers are up to here. I'm not sure if they're on that objective or not to make it sticky. And I think that was it. He deployed kind of everything just clumped up. So turn 1, he spreads out, moves up his Berserkers over there. Didn't really need to get a charge off anywhere. He stayed outside 9, because if he comes within 9, I can reactive move. And then he moves up his Terminators over here. This is the example I was talking about. So if you see that his guys are coming up in the ruin, you're like, hey, do you know that I can see them, right? He's like, oh shit, I thought this was, whatever. I was like, no, this is 2 inches. I can see you there. And then over here, kind of same thing. So he ran and couldn't get this one guy on the other side of the wall. So if I were to bring on my unit over here, I can get line of sight going this way and try and shoot him, stuff like that. So you kind of want to help out your opponent and be like, hey, I could just blast you off the table if you keep your guys right there, right? And then have them make the decision. They're like, yeah, it's cool. I think I'll survive. And then if not, then allow them to kind of back up behind the terrain piece. But that's really where he set up. Nothing really too aggressive. Nothing I really had to look out for besides this unit up here, because the reactive move makes the Poxwalkers just super annoying to deal with. We put the one guy who you can't advance the Foul Blight spawn, I think, right here, because the Berserkers are the only ones in this army, I think, that can advance in this detachment. So if I put these guys right here, you can't advance or end in advance within 9 inches. And if you happen to move up within 9 inches, I could use a reactive move from Morty to just back up to try and make your charge 5 inches further. So for us, we had a pretty simple turn 1. We had area denial, which we got with the center Poxes. Call the horde we can get and bring it down. I wasn't killing the Demon Prince or Anger on turn 1, so there's no point to keep it. So let's go into the next thing. He commits his Berserkers to move up, and he stayed off the objective, but he stayed right outside 9 inches of my Poxwalkers because he didn't want them to reactive move. So he tried to just make a 9-inch charge, which he failed, and now all these guys with the Juggernaut are up here off of the objective. I know they have the horde move, so what you do is you bring your guys as close as possible, because it's only D6, I think, unless I think he can go 6 inches flat. I forget if he has a CP strat where he can just go 6 inches, but you put them at 7 inches away, or you let them go into you. And why I did that was because I started moving everybody up. So Morty committed, Demon Prince committed, Spawn committed, the Plague Marines committed, and then I brought one bloat drone over here to get shots off going this way or into his Terminators, which are over here. So his 5-man Terminators moved back to get some shots off on the Poxes. So they moved back, so I had line of sight from the Plague, this guy back here, into the 10-man or into the Terminators. So if I shoot the 10-man, they can move closer, and the only closest target is the Poxwalkers, which I'm like, all right, that's fine, because again, if he does horde move, he is now closer to me, right, which is a benefit, because then now that's an easier charge. If he doesn't horde move, I can then just keep shooting him until he dies. So it's really two options. Do you horde move to try and get in combat and stop the shooting, but then you get charged? Or do you not horde move and just die to shooting? So not a lot of good options, but that's really what we gave him with this unit up here. And then, like I said, the Terminators down here, we put everybody in a contagion. So these guys were obviously already in contagion. We brought the Terminators into contagion over here so that we were able to bring down our Death Shroud. And once the Death Shroud came down, that was their focus, was to just kill the Terminators and get onto this side of the table. Because I think we had area denial, behind enemy lines, secure no man's land. We probably didn't. I think we had behind enemy lines here. So when we charged in, we got behind enemy lines with this Lord of Contagion because he's on the 30-inch right here. So he's on this side of the table with the Death Shroud. And now the Lord of Contagion with 3 Death Shroud is now his backfield. The only people he had is the Jackals on his home field and this Demon Prince, which I'm not really too afraid of the Demon Prince, especially with his 3 damage weapon. It still takes 2 to kill Death Shroud. And with the -1, it's so good into melee armies. So -1 to hit, you always want to take into melee and shooting armies, kind of like that. So you can also see most of his army is heading this way. And anytime you see that with a melee army, you want to go the opposite way. So me, Mortarian, and Angron are completely on the opposite sides of the table, and that's really how you should be playing against this type of army. So when you see him go one way, you go the other way and just keep shooting him from afar. So this guy down here came in. This guy came in from reserves up top here, the blade launcher. The other one started here, moved down here to get shots off 36 inches away this way. So he, I think, had line of sight to the Terminators up here. So 36 inches this way. And then he also had line of sight going this way into these 8th bound. So going this way into the 8th bound, or going this way into the Terminator. So having two options. And if he does commit Angron to go around this building, he's got to go, I think, like 14 inches to here, and then that's going to be a super long charge, or 14 inches to here, which is a super long charge. So I stayed as max distance away as possible to try and make the charge with Angron as difficult as possible. So, and then we just kept as many on the point as possible, because if Angron does make that charge, we don't want to lose our home field objective. And if Angron does come this way, we then can come back down this way and try and commit onto him. So basic clearing at the top here. Next turn, we at one point of the game, I had 7 CP, he had 5 CP. Tallyman just kept raking them in, and we weren't really spending a lot because we didn't really have to. A lot of these games, when you're kind of waiting till the Death Shroud come down, and you're going back and forth, just really quick turns, you're going to save up a ton of CP. On the one stream game against TJ, I think we both had like, or I might have had like 8 CP at one point, and he had 2 or 3. And this is us clearing off the top and then starting to make everything sticky. So this is sticky. Blightlord backed up again to stay as far as possible from the World Eater players. Rhino moved down. Angron committed, I think, here. And when he committed this way, he failed his charge. Once he failed his charge, he's now there. So I move up my Rhino to try and save him in case I need a tank shock. Because if Angron lives on like 1 or 2 wounds, Rhino's going in and trying tank shocking to keep him back. So this guy backed up, lined up in Angron. He moved up, lined in Angron. Everybody else moved up and lined in Angron. And the 5 melee dudes got out of the Rhino with the Melta, grenade, and all that stuff to move up to shoot and charge if needed in Angron. So I had a ton of stuff going in Angron, which we just nuked him off the table. He still has 8th bound, Juggernaut, 10 Berserkers with Karn behind this ruin on the objective, 5 more Terminators. The Death Shroud got into his home field objective to kill the Jackals pretty easily, especially with the 8 sweep attacks and Flamers. The other Death Shroud came down up here, came down I think outside 6, and they might have done an action at that point. Didn't really need them to commit and throw away the Death Shroud to these guys. So we're just waiting to see what he does. So if he commits into me, then I'll have my Death Shroud to move up to go do something. And then finally, after this, the Terminators, I think, moved up, charged into my Death Shroud, didn't kill him, and then on the clap back, the Death Shroud with the Lord of Contagion murdered all of the Terminators with a 3 damage weapon, wounding on 2s. It's not fun. I think he was on 3s because he doesn't get the charge bonus. But then the other Lord of Contagion is just chilling on his own field objective. Blight Lords are just backing up to stay away, getting the 36-inch charges. This was one of the things I was talking about teaching your players. So what he could have done was he moved up the Juggernaut Lord and these guys, same with the 8th bound, and the Rhino was here, right? What you could have done was the reactive move, I moved back my Plague Marines here. So what he could have done was he could have used the Rhino. Instead of trying to make like a 10 or 11-inch charge into the Plague Marines, you basically spread out like you did here. You charge the Rhino, which is like a 6-inch charge, and let's say you do roll a 7, 8, 9, or a 10, you basically put one of the guys into the Rhino, which this little gap leaves a little space there. So when you charge this one guy into the Rhino, the other 3 guys are going to charge 10 inches to, let's say, here. As long as you end closer to the charge target, and if you couldn't have gotten base to base, which these guys could have blocked off the Rhino from getting base to base, but still leaving a little gap for you to make a successful charge 1 inch away, that's called the slingshot. So that's basically where this guy charges into the Rhino, makes the successful charge, then the other 3 guys who rolled high are able to go a little bit past the Rhino because they're still ending closer to the Rhino than when they started. And then once these guys kill the Rhino, this 3-man, 4-man unit is able to then pile in to the Plague Marines, which this guy's big ass base could have based the Plague Marines, and then these other 2 or 3 guys could have base to base the Juggernaut Lord because the long ass base, and now 2 or 3 of these guys could have just murdered the Plague Marines with the slingshot effect. So basically, you charge these guys, block off, but leave a little room for 1 successful charge with this guy, and then they commit to charge and then do the charge in. These guys fight first, kill it. These guys then pile into the other unit, attack the other unit, and then consolidate. So that is kind of what I was teaching them in this moment right here, because that charge was just way too far to try and even commit it. But that's all he has left is these 2 units. And after that, I taught him the pile in and consolidate move. After we taught him and talked, we then just moved up the entire rest of our army and killed him off the table. So there's still Karn and the 10 Berserkers over here. He didn't really have enough to do any secondaries. Angron did come back though, which he was super pumped for, and we just laughed because when he came down, he tried to make a 9-inch charge and failed, and then I was like, all right, well, I guess that was fun, and then we just moved up, and we didn't have to do anything because we had bottom at turn 5, so we didn't have to do anything to Angron. We could have just waved and did some secondaries, which is what we did. So everything moved up. On turn 5, we had recover assets and engage in all fronts. So we basically just spread out, recover, and got 5 and 4. So end of the game, we finished up with, let me bring this over for you guys. We had 98 to 43. So for the secondaries, he was doing the new cards, which we did throughout the entire time. Only 17 out of 50 for primary. He had 3 turn 1, 8 or 3 turn 2, 8 turn 3, and then 3 and 3. Because Karn and the Berserkers just stayed on that objective most of the game. And then only 9 out of 40 for secondaries. So like I said, guys, he was playing Death Guard for the first time. He was a newer player. He's competitive. He had fun, learned how to play the game, and I taught him as much as I possibly could while playing a fun game with this. And then for us, we obviously had 50 out of 50 for primary, 13, 8, 15, 15. And then we only had 38 out of 40 for secondaries. On turn 1, we had 5. Couldn't get bring it down. And then 8, 8, 8, 9. So good secondaries. So that was the final score. But what did we learn against this is when you have a really good World Eater player in your meta and you have a lot of practice games with them, you kind of know what to look out for. And that's basically what we did. I know it's a brand new codex, so you definitely want to be playing new codexes to learn what their changes are. But it's just a melee army. Like, it's a melee army that can now shoot with rapid fire weapons everywhere. So look out for that. If you're playing World Eaters, they can shoot now. And then with Angron is not as good as he used to be, I heard. But with us, we're basically just playing the rotation game. So as he goes one way, we go the other way. He didn't commit in the middle. I think if he would have committed in the middle, we would have just met him right head on, because we were just a brick wall when he charged into us. But the reactive move I noticed with World Eaters is just dumb. Like, it is so good to try and stop them from doing anything. We did have the Foul Blight spawn, so they can't advance. So armies like Emperor's Children, which we did have a game with in here against an awesome dude, Custodes with their Blade Champion, Tyranids, who else has a lot of advanced and charges? Obviously the World Eaters and Chaos Space Marines. So any army that does a lot of advanced and charge, Foul Blade spawn actually comes into play. Chaos Demons with their Bloodthirster advanced and charging. So a lot of advanced and charging armies, and just having that one guy in the center makes it such an annoying model to not be able to end an advance or start an advance within 9 inches of them. So that guy is just super annoying. And I think he lived. Yeah, he's right there. He lived the entire game. So hopefully, guys, you enjoyed that, learned something from that play, what to do and what not to do against Death Guard and with World Eaters. So, yeah, the next game is going to be the Emperor's Children.
What is up, gents? 40k Dirtbags here. If you guys are interested in joining the Dirtbag Nation over at patreon.com, you get a bunch of perks. What we did in 2024 was we really expanded. I had traveled a ton and I played my ass off in 40k. Right now, we're ranked #1 best player in the United States on ITC rankings. We were the #1 Chaos Space Marine player in the world this year in 2024. 2 years ago, we got ranked #1 Grey Knight player in the world, and this year we're probably going to go into Death Guard, hopefully when the new codex comes out, or Emperor's Children. But you guys, if you guys want that head coach or that coach always in your corner just to ask questions, bounce ideas off, that's what the competitive Dirtbag and the Dirtbag Nation is all about. If you guys want to support the channel, you head over to patreon.com. You can join the Just a Car tab, which is $5 a month. You guys get access to the Discord Patreon tab. You have to be a patron to get into that Discord, and also I'm always there. All the other coaches are there. Basically, it's just such a good community over on Discord that you guys get specific access to it that only Patreons can get. If you guys want to bump that up, the competitive Dirtbag tier, you guys get to message me or another Grandmaster or another Dirtbag coach over the Dirtbag Nation to add unlimited questions, list ideas, list reviews, and bounce ideas off of. That's what having a coach in your corner is all about. If you guys want to bump up to the Grandmaster tier, that tier you get every perk under the sun. So basically you get access to Discord, you get one-on-one coaching, you get a call once a month if you guys would like to go over any RTTs coming up, any GTs coming up, any list reviews live over Discord chat, and also a special perk that Grandmasters get. If you guys want any video suggestions like we do all the time with these table setups that we just upgraded thanks to the Patreons, you guys get suggestions or battle reports you want to see specifically played live by a coach or myself on the next battle report, or a live battle report coming up on the Patreon. So you guys get obviously first access to all the videos. We post them first on patreon.com, but there's just a ton of benefits to having a professional coach that plays this game all the time at the very, very high competitive level in your corner at all times. And that's really what the Dirtbag Nation is all about, getting you guys better at 40K, the basics, and being good in your community. So if you guys want to support the channel, I really appreciate it. Couldn't have done it without you guys in 2024, 2025. I am super stoked for, super excited for. If we really want to get a bigger studio going, that is going to be my focus in 2025, is really growing the community on YouTube and Patreon specifically. So thank you so much for 2024, all my Patreons. If you guys are interested in joining and want that coach in your corner, head over to patreon.com and support the channel. Appreciate it.